y'all, and welcome to today's video. I am going to be reviewing and ranking all of the BH Cosmetics Birthstone palettes. This year for 2021, on the first of every month, BH has released a new palette inspired by the pick for that month's Birthstone. I have tried these palettes. I have reviews on all of these, first impressions videos, looks with these, everything, but I want to rank them all. I know so many of y'all have enjoyed this series of palettes like I have them sitting in front of me, and I can't wait to rank them, talk to y'all about them. And if you are new here, hey, my name is Heather and makeup makes me happy. Here at my channel, we don't try to be perfect. We just want to have a good time with our makeup, whatever that means. Shimmer, glitter, ranking palettes, we are here for it. So if that sounds good to you, I do hope that you will subscribe before you leave today, because right now I'm uploading videos every single day for Vlogmas. I am doing 35 days of Heather, so 35 days of everyday uploads. So if you like lots of videos, if you like fun makeup content, this is the place to be. But I have a lot to say about these palettes, so let's jump into it. As I said earlier, I have just really looked forward to the first of each month, seeing what BH was going to do with their Birthstone palettes. And overall, I felt like the quality of these palettes have been really good. Some more than others. Some of these have a color story that's more my preference. So I'm going to rank these. I'm going to tell you why I ranked them in a certain way. I love that these palettes were only $9. First of all, $9 for these palettes, and for Black Friday, BH had these palettes on sale for $4.50, which is crazy. I think they're amazing, not just for $9. Like some of these palettes, if they were $20, I'd still say, yeah, those are worth it because they're amazing palettes. So we're not talking about, oh, they're good for only being $9. Like these are amazing palettes, but somebody has to come in at number 12, and I put Ruby for July. I will link my BH Cosmetics playlist down below because, like I said, I have a tutorial up with all of these palettes showing swatches, close-ups, and everything. And if you watched all my videos, you probably kind of felt like Ruby would maybe come in lower. It just wasn't my favorite, mainly based on color story. Now I will say, these are all 7-pan palettes, and they do have a pressed glitter. And every month I seem to get a comment saying, Heather, why do you hate pressed glitters? I don't hate pressed glitters. I really don't. There are some pressed glitters I enjoy. I do hate the pressed glitters in these Birthstone palettes. Some aren't as bad as others, but then some of them just really terrible. I just really did not like the BH pressed glitters. So I'll go ahead and get that statement out of the way now, because I'm going to be talking about all these palettes minus the pressed glitters, like how I feel about the shades inside the palettes. So to me, like, this is a 6-pan palette because I don't even care about this one. But what BH did was they took the Birthstone they chose for that month. So Ruby, they made it one large shade, and then they put some beautiful shades to go with it. This palette just didn't inspire me as much as some of the others, and it's just personal preference. I didn't necessarily love these tones together. We have these two kind of more neutral tones. This one doesn't pull super deep. We have this kind of muted red here. Just overall not the fave, with the kind of more yellow gold, but this is a nice palette. If you're looking at this and you're thinking, those are my colors, like I want a palette with those colors, then you will like this palette because the quality in here is great. But somebody had to come in at number 12, and so that's Ruby. Next, I feel like a lot of people who I saw reviewing these palettes loved Garnet, but it just wasn't my favorite. And I love red eyeshadow, but there was something about this one that just didn't speak to me the most. I don't know. This one, again, the quality is great. I do like that we have very deep shades and very light shades. I really like when a palette has that. And for pressed glitter, I think it's cool that they threw in a black. I have worn this more times throughout the year because I knew it kind of wasn't my favorite. So I did make myself work with it some more, and I feel like the quality is great. It's just not a color story that super duper stands out to me. This red is really nice. I did create like a monochrome look with this where I just put the red like all in the crease and then put this all over the lid. It was really pretty. I just feel like when I'm looking at all the palettes, there are ones I like more than this one. So this one is number 11. Next, I have Aquamarine. Aquamarine was March's palette. So this one is coming in next for me. I will say these mattes I didn't enjoy as much as some of the mattes in some of the other palettes. I don't know if it's just the shades or like, I don't think the formula would be different, but I do feel like they weren't quite as good as some of the other mattes I've tried from BH. The reason this palette is kind of coming in higher in the rankings is because of this shade. This shade right here, Slightly Shy, I think is beautiful, like absolutely beautiful. There's something so special about this one, and this shade right here is really beautiful. I think all of these palettes can definitely be used on their own, of course, but I also feel like they make really great companion palettes, especially if you're traveling or you're somebody who likes to have kind of a smaller makeup collection. This paired with any other palette could be so beautiful because you do have these beautiful lid shades. You could even use this as like a pop on the inner corner. It's very beautiful. So these two shades are the only reason this palette is ranking up higher, but I think just these shades are a little bit weaker for me. Okay, next I have Opal. Opal was the birthstone for October. I'm actually wearing an Opal. Oh look, I'm wearing Aquamarine and I'm wearing Opals and Garnets today. Oh, look at that. That stood out to me. Okay, Opal for October. This is a great palette. If you are looking to add some pastels into your collection, this one is so good, and you have this duochrome shade. It looks white in the pan, and I'm kind of looking how it looks on camera. It looks white, and this palette is so light. This is a very light palette, but this is a shifty shade. This is a pink to a white duochrome shade, which I really like. It looks pretty all over the lid. It looks pretty on the inner corner, and you have some beautiful pastels to go with it. These two shades, beautiful. Again, what I was saying about companion palettes, if you have maybe like a rainbow palette that's all these mid-tone shades, having something like this to pull in a lighter orange, a lighter blue, a lighter pink, a duochrome to highlight, like, it can be so beautiful, but I do tend to prefer shadows that are deeper and darker, looks that are on the deeper, darker side. So that's why this little pastel palette is not coming in at the top for me, even though the quality is so good. Okay, next I have the latest addition to my collection, which is Turquoise for December. I do have a video up, of course, with all of these, but I have tested this. I've had some time to play with it, and this is really pretty. The reason that this is not ranking higher is because there's not a super deep shade in here. I think I said in my video that I would have happily swapped out this metallic-y gold shade for either a black or a deep dark navy, or even if they wanted to stick with browns, a very deep dark brown. This yellow gold, I just didn't necessarily feel like I needed it. So for it to be my perfect palette, it should have gone a little bit deeper. But why I do love this palette is, one, this turquoise shade is just absolutely stunning. I'm trying to move it around so you can see all the shades in these palettes. But we do have a beautiful turquoise matte shade as well, which I really like. You can create an all neutral look, an all colorful look, or you can mix and match with this palette. One thing I'll also say that I don't think I've said yet is the size of these palettes. These are so nice. Like, look, compared to my hand, this is not very big. It's not very wide. I enjoy that they all have a mirror. So if this is something that you wanted to pack, you know, for just a one night getaway or something, you have everything you need. You have a mirror, it's nice and compact, you can throw it, you can take it on the go. I don't know if y'all travel enough that makes it worth it to you, but I do really like the size of these. Okay, moving forward is where it got kind of tricky for me, especially as we get to the top. But next up, I decided I would put February's palette. This is Amethyst for February. And this is a beautiful purple palette. This purple shade is absolutely stunning. I know I keep saying that, but in every palette, the main shade they chose to go with, I think they did such a good job on those shades. I love the purpley tones in here. This shade and this shade are amazing. And I like that in this palette, we didn't have an excess of neutrals. Even though we only have 6 shadows, they chose to keep them all purpley toned, which I like. Now, this is still a palette though. I feel like if you're somebody who you need some neutrals, you could kind of create a very soft look if you just wanted to kind of put this on the inner part of the lid, this on the outer part of the lid, and you would still get that kind of purpley feel without it being wham bam purple. So I really like the curation in this color story that they chose to go with. This kind of like periwinkle leaning lilac I think is really special. I'm telling y'all, like this one and here on, I feel like I played with the order of how I was going to rank these so much. And you ask me in a week from now, maybe I'll rank them differently based on color preferences. But this one, I just think it's very, very beautiful. Okay, next up, I have Pearl for June. You can see mine's kind of messy because I love this little neutral palette. I love color, but I love neutrals too. I love them both. And I think BH did neutrals right. We have 6 neutral shades here. We have 3 mattes and 3 shimmers. I love that we have darker mattes and then kind of lighter mattes and mid-tone mattes. That gives you option. I love that we have a bronzy leaning shimmer and then we have a more yellowy gold leaning shimmer. And then we have this beautiful pearl shade. So I feel like in this little 6 pan, we do have a variety within neutrals, and I think that's really, really, really nice. These are just very beautiful. They blend beautifully. If you're like, you know what, I just need a little bitty neutral palette, what should I grab? I highly recommend Pearl for June because the formulas in here are so nice. This is a beautiful lid shade, inner corner shade, everything. I just really like the curation of the neutrals that they chose for this one. Okay, it keeps getting harder, but I have to put in next Diamond for April. This one was one of all the palettes that I was very curious. What are they going to do for Diamond? What are they going to do for Diamond? And I love it. I love it. This is a beautiful palette to create smoky looks, or you want to stick with a light look. Look. Just stick with those 4 shades right there. You can create something light and bright, but add in these and get some drama. Like this black that has a sparkle to it, this intense metallic-y silver, this beautiful silver white shade, you know, whereas Pearl was white leaning champagne, like warm white. This is a cool white. I don't know how much you're really gonna be able to see without like going to that video, watching the swatches, watching the look, but this is a very cool toned icy white shade. But then you have these really soft warm tones. So if you wanna warm it up and you wanna create something softer, you can. I love reaching for this little palette because a lot of times I will put on black eyeliner and then I will go back and kind of smudge it in to make it look a little messy and a little more grungy and a little more undone with a shade like this. I've been reaching for this. I think it's so nice. If you are somebody who likes a matte but bright inner corner, this shade is beautiful. This shade I actually have kind of under my brow bone today because I don't really like to put a shimmer shade under my brow bone, but I still wanted a little bit of a lift, so I did reach into this shade right here. This one would be a great one to add to your collection if you're lacking shades like this. Okay, top 4 is Citrine for November. Number 4. This is so beautiful. And for November, for where I live, like in Mississippi, these are some perfect November colors. The leaves are turning. They're turning these shades right here. This is beautiful. This is a brilliant way to make a yellow neutral color story. These shades are perfect. And then this shade, amazing. This shade called Dynamic is so beautiful. Everything about this, the texture of these shadows, the way they apply, the intensity of the shimmers, how beautiful they are. I love this palette. This one is so amazing. Like I'm telling you, like my top palettes, I will never tell you to run out and get anything. You're on a low buy, stay on your low buy. You can do it. Stay strong, shop your stash, see what you have. But if you were waiting and you're like, you know what, I want to see what Heather thinks, or I want to see some reviews, these palettes, y'all, don't sleep on these. They are so good, and they're only $9. Okay, the top three. Oh, it just gets harder and harder and harder and harder. Honestly, I'll just say it. The top three could all be number one. But for this video, I had to put somebody in 3, somebody in 2, somebody in 1. So number 3, I'm giving to Sapphire. Sapphire is my birthstone, but I didn't care. Like, I don't buy things because they're my birthstone. Like, if I like it, I buy it. You know what I'm saying? But I was happy. I'm like, oh yeah, for my birthstone, I love it. Love. This blue purple shade, exquisite. Exquisite. How many times do I use the word exquisite? It's not a word that's really in my day-to-day vocabulary, but that's how I would describe this shade. It is beautiful. This shade though is like exquisite times 1,000. The shade Cool, oh my gosh, it makes me want to go to like the Blue Lagoon. Like, it is beautiful. Look at it. There's a hair on my palette, and it's my hair, not Atlas's hair. Okay. Back to it. The mattes they chose, the green, the blue purple, the silver, everything about this palette. Listen, the top 3 palettes, they could all be number 1. This one was number 1, and then I got moved, then I got moved, then I got moved. I was just shuffling back and forth, but this is a beautiful palette. The quality in here, amazing. If you're like, you know what, Heather, I don't know about color. What should I do? How should I dip my toes into the color pool? These BH palettes are the best way. Try it. See if you like it. Play with it. Beautiful. Number 2. This one could also be number 1, just like Sapphire. Could be number 1. But today, somebody had to, whoops, I'm knocking stuff over. Somebody had to come in the number 2 slot, and it is Peridot for August. Green is my favorite color, and today I'm wearing this shade right here, Outgoing. You see that all kind of in, like, not even in my crease, but like above my crease. I'm wearing that. I'm wearing the shade Brave in the outer corner. Beautiful collection of shades. I think this color story is very fun with the lime green, with the deep green, with the yellow, with this beautiful, more like deeper green, but still bright and vibrant at the same time. It's just very, very fun. I think it's so cute. I love lime green. I love that they went lime and they went fun with the color story. And that brings us to number 1. I had to give it to Emerald. I had so much fun with this color story. And if I'm thinking back, like, these 3 are the ones that stand out the most to me. But Emerald, I have a soft spot in my heart for this one. This right here is the shade that you see all over my lid today. It's so incredibly beautiful. What I like about this palette is how deep it is with this pop of intense shimmery, like, what do you call it? Total package. Yeah, it makes sense. I love the depth of here. I love that we have this kind of swamp mud green color. I love that we have this really deep but kind of warm brown. I love the bronzy shade. So if you want to create a beautiful bronze look, this shade, this shade, this shade, you have it covered. You want to create a green look, you've got these 3 greens. You know what I'm noticing? There's only 2 mattes in this palette, and if you know me, I'm a shimmery sparkly type of person. So it makes sense that I chose this for number 1. There's 2 mattes in here, and then you have 4 beautiful shimmery, sparkly, some metallic shades. I love it. I've had so much fun with this series, y'all. I have enjoyed it. I don't know what BH is going to do for 2022, but I would love to see them do something like this. Maybe even like 5-pan palettes, but something for every month. I just think it could be really, really fun. I enjoyed it so very much. I had fun, and if y'all have been here with me, if you've been watching my videos, thank you so much. I would love to know, did you buy any of these? Did you try any of these? Definitely let me know. I would love to hear your reviews down in the comments. But thank you so much for watching. I hope that you will subscribe, because I will be back tomorrow with a brand new video. And don't forget, I'm going to be ranking every single palette that I have that launched in 2021. That whole yearly palette ranking video is coming, so make sure you subscribe for that, and I will see you tomorrow in a new video. Bye!